I'm hoping that I have Steve on the line. Are you there, Steve?
You do indeed. Thanks for having me.
So good to hear your voice.
Yeah, long time no see, actually. It's been a few years, I think.
Yes. And how authentic was that? I think even the listeners might have caught me kind of messing up here. And you know what? It's authentic. And that's what I love about you, Steve. When I first met Steve, I was working in a primary school in Arncliffe, and within the magic of a twist of a turn, we were at the Story Factory releasing a story called The Wild Brumbies Magic Adventure on these iPads with an audience, and it was authentic. It was amazing. And Steve, it was because of your compassion, your imagination, and your ability to run with ideas. So that's all I'm going to say. Tell us how a young, innovative man like you ends up in NASA.
Yeah. I actually remember that story. That was fantastic. The students produced that in a day, and that was great. How did I end up in NASA? So it's a bit of a long story, but I'll try and keep it short. I actually went in a NASA design competition that was sponsored by Lego, a big international competition, one of the biggest competitions they've run. And I actually went in it to try and inspire my students. I made a spaceship design all about transporting humans between Moon and Mars. NASA actually have a whole division at the moment called Moon to Mars. They've got a lot of staff involved. Obviously, we're on the precipice of going back to the moon, but also going to Mars over the next decade or two. And so it's very exciting times. And I thought I'd go in the competition and just create a spaceship using a whole bunch of things I'd researched around bulk gravity, hydroponic plant systems, and things like that to inspire the students. So I went in it, had absolutely no intention of winning. I just thought it would be fun to sort of show my students the model. And I got contacted saying I was the grand prize winner, and the NASA team would like to meet me.
Whoa, That's awesome. Hey, I had a look at a post on your LinkedIn, and there you are with the Chief Operating Officer, an inspiring visionary who oversees the best space education programs on the planet, and you were with him. What was that like?
Yeah, well, it was funny because we were just told, come and meet us. I didn't know who I was meeting with. I didn't know what their agenda was. I knew nothing. So we were staying in a hotel about an hour away. So my wife and I, Bianca, we drove all the way to the Kennedy Space Center, and they were launching a brand new car, actually, in the rocket garden there called the 2020 Corvette. Beautiful car.
Of course they were.
Yeah, and a lot of the staff there have a relationship with Corvette NASA. They used to sponsor the astronauts, and they used to lease Corvettes for $1 a year. And Lance Armstrong's actual personal Corvette, I think it was a 1967 Stingray, was actually there with Armstrong on the license plate. So it was quite inspiring to see all these beautiful cars as well as all these amazing rockets and shuttles. So we got there and met with the Chief Operating Officer. His name's Theron Protz, and he actually cancelled his schedule and gave Bianca and I a 1 hour sort of VIP behind-the-scenes tour and showed us some of the facilities that NASA have made for what I see as probably being the best student space programs on the planet. It would be tens of millions, possibly into the hundreds. These facilities were unbelievable. They had plant laboratories, they had Mars rovers, they had rooms dedicated for launch sites, connecting to gravity sort of machines that the students would try and simulate space. Mind-blowing.
It is mind-blowing. I'm looking at Karen Mack's face in the other studio, and she's just raising her hands up in the air going, what? And I am certain there are so many listeners out there that listen to 99.7 FM that are going, oh my goodness, this is incredible. And I know a lot of teachers listen to this program because Speak Up is all about books that inform, persuade and entertain us. And I just want to put it out there that I am so impressed that you are in the minds of young people, because it is so their next generation, and playing with Lego is such an incredible tactile investment with our young people to explore in an extraordinary problems that we will be facing, problems I guess that we don't even know yet.
Yeah, absolutely. And one of the cool things about Lego is there's actually a lot of free software that students and teachers can download, and they can create for free, because it's quite expensive to buy. You know, my model was 3,500 pieces, and the previous competition I went in was 17,500 pieces. quite expensive for a child to just go out and buy 17,500 pieces of Lego, you know.
Exactly.
But with the software, you can create it for free. You can extract the model that they've made into a 3D model and then put it into your ebook.
Sorry for interrupting you. They can put it in their ebook.
Absolutely. It's all free software. It's an incredible workflow. So that's one of the things that I've been teaching schools, how to use the software to extract these 3D models that they make, and then they can actually put them into their ebooks and then also view them in virtual reality or augmented reality so it looks like it's popping out of the book. I mean, it's absolutely fantastic, fascinating technology. This was something that I got to engage with NASA as well when I had my visit, so I was very lucky.
You're not lucky, you're a star, and you deserve to be there, Steve Iuliano. You are a star, and we need people like yourself that are innovating and can, you know, that have got their heart in education, which I definitely know that's the person you are. We've been having a conversation on LinkedIn over about 8 months now since I've been working up here for 99.7 FM, and as a teacher in my background, and also wanting to connect schools with community and also wanting to use the vehicle of radio. I understand that you're just not an innovative young man. You've got a music background. Do you want to speak about that and what your vision is for setting up radio studios in schools?
Yeah, sure. So before I became a teacher, I did a Bachelor of Music at New South Wales at the university, actually. And then I sort of started up a production company with a business partner and friend of mine, James England. And so we built this studio called Crash Symphony Studios, which is now one of the premier studios in Australia, actually, and they do a lot of recordings for Sony and all the big studio brands and movies and TV stations. So that was my sort of industry background, and I decided to sort of give it all away and give it all to James and let him run with it because he was very passionate. So I could pursue education and went back to uni, did a postgraduate in education, and thought it might be something that I can use to try and inspire the students to create content and to explore and think a little bit outside of the box, use their imaginations more. I had absolutely no idea at the time that it would sort of take me into 3D design and gaming and robotics and then end up, doing all this stuff with Lego. It's been a mind-blowing journey, but very exciting one.
It's definitely exciting. What's your belief about where we're heading with education now in terms of technology and the impact on us as humans? Sure.
I think, to be honest with you, I think there's a bit of a debate at the moment about PBL, like problem-based learning, and some schools or teachers are for it, some are against it, and I'm not going to go into the politics of that right now, but I do absolutely encourage teachers and students to explore problem-solving and not just being spoon-fed information. I honestly believe that kids are unbelievably creative and have incredible imaginations. And if you can tap into that and explore, I believe that we're going to solve problems that we can't solve right now. And we need to nurture imagination and creativity. So I do everything in my power to try and inspire schools to use technology to do things that are impossible without the technology, basically trying to redefine their learning environment. And I think you can do that with a lot of things, including Lego, but many other things.
And what about the ageing population of teachers? What are we going to do? We're just going to be superseded by all you young people.
Yeah, look, I don't see it as being superseded. I think that it doesn't matter what age you are. I think that with the right training, anyone can learn how to use software programs and experiment. But the thing that I always say when I'm speaking at conferences and keynotes is that you don't have to be afraid that the students are better at technology than the teacher in the room. Don't be afraid of it. Harness it. Encourage the students to use the software and get the students, if they learn something amazing, get them to teach the other students, get them to teach teachers. And look at it as a learning process that they can have a journey going through all this incredible software and utilizing what's coming out on a day-to-day basis as opposed to being afraid of it and just burying it in the sand. I think that's a complete waste of an opportunity.
Well, Steve, I can see you sitting down with Socrates and talking about a collaborative approach to problems, and you are the Socrates of the 2020. So I wish you all the best. Is there any closing notes that you would like to put out there?
Oh, look, I appreciate you having me on the radio station, and it's always good to catch up with you. You're a great inspiration. I remember your passion back in Sydney. and it's great to see that you're still doing what you love and engaging with teachers. And you can call me anytime. More than happy to chat.
You're an incredible man.